This guy right here just turned 18 years old.
Picked off. Flagg on the attack. On the slam! And a foul! Oh my!
Yes, that right there is the best NBA prospect in this year's draft. And while some people have tried to throw some other names into the mix, Cooper Flagg has just gone from strength to strength this season, turning into a legitimately dominant two-way player, averaging 19 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, and nearly 3 stocks a game, on really impressive efficiency, which has only gotten better as the season has gone on. Oh, and he also leads his team in every single major statistical category. Yeah, and we should have known Cooper Flagg was different the moment he took on Team USA as a 17-year-old and nearly led a group of young NBA players to victory against one of the greatest USA teams assembled. Yes, it was a scrimmage, I am aware, but do you really think the best basketball players on earth are not competitive enough to take a scrimmage seriously? I mean, how many guys, regardless of age, have you seen take the pressure from Drew Holiday handling the ball, getting a screen set for him, and then pulling up in the face of Anthony Davis? And the very next possession of that play, he gets the ball off a turnover, pushing the pace, finding Keegan Murray, before then following up the miss for the and one. That's the combination of skill and motor that you are seeing with Flagg at the college level after doing that to some of the best pros in the NBA over the summer. So now that he's playing against lesser competition in college, he's not just giving you a few moments a game, he's flat out dominating games on a nightly basis on both ends of the floor. And it's the reason why teams like Toronto, Washington, Brooklyn, Utah, and Portland are desperate to end up with this #1 overall pick. Because whoever gets lucky enough to draft Cooper Flagg will be drafting a potential two-way superstar. I know those are lofty expectations, but he might just be good enough to live up to them. Watch a play like this, where the screen gets set for Flagg to get downhill, and with the second defender helping over, look at that spin to get inside and finish. Sure, a lot of players can pull off a spin move. I've even pulled off a few in my time. But at that size, moving that quickly, that's what makes Flagg different. Or this time against a big man, setting him up by going left before the cross back to the right and the smooth pull-up jumper. But that's really light work for Cooper. When you see he can pull off moves like this, going behind the back and then that hard drive right, rising up and knocking it down. You hear the term guard-like skills for bigger players a lot of the time, and I'm guilty of saying that as well, but often that can be exaggerated. Just because we say a guy make a crossover or go between the legs once, but what makes Cooper Flagg actually look like a guard at times is how quickly he can change direction with the ball in his hands. It's his ability to get low to the ground and move laterally, which is what you see from a guard. He might not have the handle of Chris Paul or Steph Curry, but you very rarely see someone that size move that smoothly and cohesively. Just to emphasize that, watch him here face up his defender, that quick jab step before driving left, and then after creating that separation with his upper body, he banks it in. And I think this is the best attribute that Flagg has on both ends of the floor. Yes, he can clearly jump with his ability to dunk on players or block shots, but it's that fluidity which is so important in the modern NBA. When you have to switch onto players 30 feet from the basket or guard countless pick and rolls, having that ability to move laterally is a game changer on both ends. And we should probably talk about his defense, because whilst his offense is fun and is continuing to improve, his defense is almost a certainty to be elite, even at the NBA level. But before we talk about that, let's thank the sponsor of today's video, MyBookie. We are already more than halfway through the NBA season, and we have continued to see greatness every single night. Whether that's Nikola Jokic recording a triple-double in less than 3 quarters, to Shea and the Thunder winning at a near historic rate. And what better way to enjoy all of that action than with MyBookie, who take live odds on literally every single action, like Steph Curry hitting a 3 or James Harden throwing a dime. And you don't need to wait. Our make it easy for you. Jump in right now and double your deposit with code 6man. That's more bankroll to back up your picks, whether it's NBA or college hoop. And you can use MyBookie Bet Builder to get creative with player props and single game parlays so you can strike the right combination to maximize your payouts. Take advantage of daily bet boosts and a risk-free offer every Thursday. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And there are a few reasons for this. For starters, he's obviously a great athlete who has great timing when blocking shots from the weak side or trailing players around screens, but I think just as important, if not more important than his athleticism, is his IQ and his motor. Watch him here where he's guarding the corner shooter. He hovers in the paint just waiting on that move, and the second he goes up with the hook shot, Cooper comes over and swats it away. And if you want to exemplify just how great Cooper's motor is and his willingness to compete, who better than his mother, who said this: "That's really to me what Larry Bird encapsulates as a player. He did whatever the team needed him to do night in and night out." Cooper is the same way. He isn't somebody who feels like the dirty work is beneath him. And that is the case for a lot of NBA players. Some great, some not even very great at all. But they will often feel that if they have enough offensive skill set, they don't need to dive for loose balls or chase players around screens and contest shots because they're going to be on the floor regardless, so they might as well save themselves for offense. Flagg doesn't see things that way, and that's why his floor is so high. And I've heard the likes of Kevin Garnett, Kawhi Leonard as comparisons for Flagg, but what about a guy like Draymond Green? The second best player on an all-time great team, largely because of his defensive genius and his willingness to make a play every single possession. Even if Flagg doesn't reach Draymond's level defensively, which would obviously be hard, just to have those kind of traits whilst also being significantly more offensively talented, which is no disrespect to Draymond, that's frightening to think about. Even guys like Amen Thompson and Tari Eason in Houston, who were changing that team with their activity on defense. Flagg might just be a heightened version of what those guys do his first few years in the league on defense. And this is coming from someone who is a huge fan of both. But his combination of size, length, IQ, timing, and motor, I just don't see a world in which he is not a completely monstrous defender pretty much from the get-go. And there are two other aspects of his game which I haven't mentioned, which is the passing and the shooting. I think there are signs when a player has legit passing instincts and ability. One of those signs for me is their ability to throw an entry pass. I know it seems so pedestrian, but so many players fail at doing it. Watch Flagg on this play throw a perfect entry pass over the top of the Notre Dame defender for Malawach to catch and finish at the rim. What about this time where Malawach sets the screen for Flagg, and with both defenders going to him, he throws it over the top for the bucket. This is the advantage of being 6'9" with shooting touch. You can not only see over the top of defenders in screening actions, but you will have instances like this where both defenders are drawn towards you with the ball. And as far as shooting goes, well, he's made 50% of his threes over his last 8 games and has been absolutely lights out from the free throw line. Obviously, the 50% from 3 won't continue, but I could see him being a league average shooter. And more importantly, he can move into his threes, he can relocate, he's comfortable taking shots in rhythm, which I think is the biggest factor. Because when you have this ability, it just opens up the floor that much more if defenders want to close out on you. Because that added momentum that they have, you can use in your favor, and you are starting to see that with Flagg, taking more and more guys off the dribble and getting to the rim or the line on a more consistent basis. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Dropping a like on the video would be cool. Either way, most importantly, have a great day. Bye.